including the European Central Bank.
Yeah.
And that's what they should do, and they did it well. The more serious problem is it's so hard for young people now to find good jobs, and we're not making that investment. We got to have give people know what taxes will be in the future. There's a little bit too much centralization. They pass these big regulatory reform bill. It's what this entailed, nobody knows. They just said a lot of bureaucracies will be set up to decide. A lot of the financial business is going to Singapore. Maybe go to Shanghai. Inefficiencies of the U.S. healthcare system. I think it's very expensive, but it's effective. Excessively expensive. And I think a lot of that is because of bad regulation.
So do you have any suggestions for United States economy recovery?
On this healthcare, which is a big thing, 20% of our consumption is healthcare consumption. This is public and private consumption.
Healthcare.
In that area, we could follow the leads of some other countries. Singapore has a very effective healthcare system. Being open, healthcare is people can go to other countries to get the services, that's called the medical tourism industry. And this is, I don't think it can be managed from Washington. It's got to be some more fundamental reforms, maybe with health savings accounts, maybe mandatory to have them, and where people have a stake in where they spend their money. With these health savings accounts, if you don't spend things and follow a healthy lifestyle, anything that you don't spend gets carried over to the next year. And then when you retire, all that money goes into your retirement account if you have any left over. If you're unlucky, and it's insured above the amount in your health savings account, it's covered. New things were starting to develop in the U.S. Medical clinics at the sore throats, colds, give the vaccinations. And they would do it well and cheaply, safely and cheaply, without the wait. Now you get all kinds of testing and duplicated testing, and doctors are so naturally worried about getting sued. So they do a lot of defensive medicine. It's not a good system that evolved in the U.S. The U.S. used to have, when it was private, the best health care, and done inexpensively in the 1950s and 1960s. It's just when it got controlled by the political process where problems developed. Well, I have extreme views there.
So maybe for the next year, the world economy is facing some problems. So, do you have any expectations for the next year?
Yeah, I expect reforms to occur in Europe. Europe with their sovereign debt crisis. Right now, there's a lot of German and French banks have lent a lot to Greece, Portugal, Spain, and Ireland, and there could be some default on that. There's big spreads in the difference at which the Greeks can borrow and then the rate government and what the German government can borrow. There's a 4 or 5% interest rate spread. But there's some spreads between the rates at which the states in the United States can borrow at as well. But that keeps these governments honest. If it's both the borrower and the lenders share responsibility.
How about the United States?
Well, I don't think we're going to bail out California. California's economy is bigger than Spain's. In the 1970s, we did bail out New York City, which is a big economy. And after, in the District of Columbia, where Washington, D.C., that was I think in the 90s. And in time, constraints were imposed upon their spending and fiscal health returned. Because many states in the United States are in quite healthy condition. It's going to be hard for the U.S. to reform. The president has a philosophy that things can be managed by good people in the bureaucracy in Washington, D.C. And I don't think it works. I'm very disturbed in the United States about the quality of our elementary and secondary education. It's gotten more and more controlled by Washington. We spend more and more, and we get less and less. That's not good, because the young people are the future of the country. But and I guess but new things are developing. Public opinion is rising. Charter schools are being set up, which is private schools are expanding.
Still, we have a better future, right?
Yeah, I think in time, the political system does respond to the people, and things can go bad temporarily for maybe even as long as a decade, but recovery comes.
Thank you. What's your opinion on the Fed's QE2?
Seems to be a big topic.
财富对话下周同一时间邀请美国著名经济学家罗伯特·巴罗深入分析全球焦点经济问题，精彩节目敬请期待。